We're looking live at the picture, but maybe you have any more detail. What is the situation at the Ambassador Bridge this morning?
Well, nothing new to report overnight, and I think anyone who's looking at that picture as a Canadian should be very, very happy to see traffic flowing across that bridge. That is the busiest border crossing between our two countries. Almost a third of all trade crosses at that location, about $400 million a day. So when traffic is moving on that bridge, that means people are working in Canada and are able to put bread on their table once again.
So that is cleared as a result of the actions of police over the weekend. A number of forces coming together. I haven't had a chance to speak to you since what we watched unfold live over the weekend, the police action that led to the end of the blockade. Let me ask you this morning, as that was going on, did you feel at the time that you had every tool available to you that you needed? Powers as a municipality, powers with the Ontario government. Did you have everything you needed to bring that to the end that you were looking for?
I think it's fair to say once we put the request in for additional police resources, the Prime Minister, the Premier, they all understood the national importance of getting this roadway cleared. And so as soon as we put that request in, I would say within 24 hours or so, we had a lot of police resources, more than we even asked for down here, which was very, very appreciated by myself and members of City Council. And then police developed their operating plan to be able to move in and take control of things. It took a little longer than I think everyone hoped it would take, but it ended very peacefully, which was the goal from the very beginning.
So once the request went in, you had everything that you needed to bring it to that end. The provisions of the Emergencies Act now invoked, what would that have changed then in that particular situation? What can you do today that you couldn't have done Friday and over the weekend?
Well, I'm not quite sure on the federal side what it means, but I know that there, and the Prime Minister said it, and Minister Mendicino, there's a strong recognition of the importance of this trade corridor and any illegal protests that block roadways leading up to international borders, ports, airports, sort of priority infrastructure. I mean, there's a heightened awareness now at all levels that this just can't be allowed to happen. You can no longer have, in our case, 200 people undertaking an illegal occupation that actually starts impacting the lives of hundreds of thousands of people on either side of the border. And so the Premier last Friday issued his emergency declaration, and there were some really important tools that flowed from that. $100,000 fine, a year in jail, critical infrastructure, and you could lose your license, you could lose your commercial vehicles operating registration, and a lot of tools that were put in place that will be useful for police. On the federal side, we'll wait to see what comes out, but I know that they have a heightened awareness to this too, and there'll be something that comes out related to border crossings.
So yes, I mean, you put your finger on a key point. We had the Prime Minister invoking the Emergencies Act yesterday for the first time, but the actual details have yet to be filed in Parliament, and we could get that as early as today. In particular, what will you be looking for there?
You know, anything that bolsters the support for police to be able to move in very, very quickly, take decisive action, and a framework, some legislative framework that provides for additional tools so that it's very clear to the public what the consequences are of this type of action. We all support protest. I mean, it's the hallmark of our democracy, expressing oneself, protesting, demonstrating. That's the beauty of living in a democracy. That's okay. What's not okay is shutting your car off with 100 folks, blocking the roadway leading to the busiest border crossing between our nations and affecting the lives of hundreds of thousands of Canadians. That is not okay.
As we heard in the Prime Minister's remarks yesterday, a key part of the intent is to protect this critical infrastructure, like the Ambassador Bridge. Does it create any greater feeling of security, perhaps, that protesters will not gather anew, will not be able to return?
Yeah, I think it does. I mean, we had rolling protests here with the so-called Freedom Convoy for more than a week, and folks had come through. In fact, the day before they actually shut down, there were about 850 protesters here rolling through the city of Windsor on that same road. The problem police had is they didn't know when or if they would actually just stop their vehicles and shut them off. And of course, in the numbers that were here, it became very difficult for Windsor Police to move in and deal with things very, very quickly. We needed support of public order units, which were sent here from all across the province and frankly, the RCMP from across the country. So we appreciate that. We were able to get things under control. It took a week, but no one was hurt at the end of the day. We have control of that roadway. But I'll tell you right now, for those folks who live in the city of Windsor, this is not a pleasant experience now because you have that entire roadway for the better part part of 2 to 3 kilometers entirely Jersey barriered off to any cross traffic. It is a direct pipeline right to and from the international border crossing linking the 401 and our municipal expressway. So it is going to have an impact, is having an impact on municipal businesses. It is a short-term solution, and we are working very diligently today and moving forward to find those medium and long-term solutions that will provide some safety and security, but also some traffic controls that minimize the chance of this ever happening again.
Okay. Again, coming back to the point, hopeful that there will be an extra layer of protection to ensure the fact that this does not happen again in this Emergencies Act. But I'm wondering if conversely, too, some have expressed concerns that may irritate or embolden protesters. In this case, may make Windsor even a greater target as an infrastructure site. Do you have any concerns about the Emergencies Act?
Yeah, I don't, because I think it's being invoked sensibly by the Prime Minister and by the federal government. But I can tell you in Windsor, I would describe the situation as we're on a heightened state of alert down here. And there are lots of police resources that were sent here. Many still remain to make sure that we maintain control and security of this very crucial economic pipeline for our nation. This isn't just a Windsor-Essex issue. This is a national issue. And so this has all the right attention, all of the right resources today, but we'll need to develop other solutions that allow this roadway to open up for municipal use sooner rather than later as well.